Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The two of you have some unresolved issues, and there's some enabling going on between the two of you, and you both are feeding off of this really unhealthy circumstance. The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Ronald Morrison is suing Estelle Swan in the amount of $4,259.23. Mr. Morrison claims Ms. Swan scammed him out of money by pretending to be interested in him. Ms. Swan claims she bears no responsibility for the plaintiff's gifts.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties be sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Morrison, this is a very interesting situation you find yourself in.
Yes, sir.
Because you and Ms. Swan developed a relationship. You found yourself being enamored with Ms. Swan.
Yes, sir.
And now you want monies that you willingly gave her. You want those monies back to the tune of $4,259.23.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you give her the monies to begin with?
Your Honor, they were requested after I went on to I saw an ad. It was a website for inmates, pen pals.
Now, out of all the people that you would want to connect with,
Yes.
what is the motivation to connect with someone who's incarcerated?
Well, I had a family member in prison, and I had heard that it's just very lonely in there, and it's hard to find friends, and it's good to have contact on the outside.
Now, Ms. Swan, why were you incarcerated?
Fraud.
And while you were in prison, you decided that you wanted to engage someone outside to communicate with.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And you said, okay, she's lonely. You liked her image.
Yes, sir.
And it was, in fact, her.
Absolutely.
All right.
Estelle.
And you said, okay, let's go.
Absolutely.
And off you went writing.
Right. Well, that beautiful correspondence.
Okay.
For 9 months.
And in writing, how did you even know what he looked like?
I didn't know what he looked like at first. And
Oh,
I
there
asked
was
him,
no... Oh, you just knew that there was this person that was...
No. And so at first, and I was like, oh, well, that's very nice of you and kind of you. And then I asked, like, what do you look like? And he did send me pictures, which I do have here with me.
All right. And he sent you pictures in the letters?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And as she's writing back to you, what kept you writing?
She should be a writer, Your Honor. They were deep, loving, sincere to me. It felt long-term. I saw words like forever. Thank you for your love. She did ask me.
I can't help but wonder.
Yes.
Why are you all laughing? You don't even know what I'm going to say. I can't help but wonder that there may be women
Yes.
who, upon seeing your presentation,
Right.
would find you someone worthy of their time. And yet you choose to be with someone at that particular moment that you cannot interact with in the physical sense in terms of seeing them, talking to them.
I understand.
And, I mean, had you been married before?
Yes.
Had you
Widower. I'm a widower, 20 years.
Okay, so you had been married.
Yes.
And you were in a situation where your wife died.
Died, yes.
And a little lonely?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And where I take it you have somebody, friends, relatives.
Friends I play some golf and tennis, and I have a boat.
And I'm sure they said, we got to hook you up. I know the perfect woman. It wasn't.
Well, I mentioned this website, just to
But there
connect.
are all kinds of websites.
Yeah, I know, but they're incarcerated. You want to help somebody reach out to the outside, and maybe give them some hope for a better future.
All right. So this is going back and forth, and it's working for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's working for you. And then you shrugged.
Well, I mean, yes, initially, but then I got out and I met him in person, and he was different than I expected.
How so?
Well, first of all, his pictures, the ones he sent me, he looks 20 years younger.
Let's take a look.
I can't believe you're in it. Oh, boy.
They have to be from at least 20 years ago.
That's
And
all.
as you can see, he's a handsome man.
Is this you from 20 years ago?
Yes, that's all I had. Your
I mean,
Honor.
you look exactly the same. Let's take a look at the pictures. I'm saying that to say it's not like you gained or lost massive amounts of weight.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you're a little bit more, you don't have as much character in your face as you do now.
Right.
So really for you, the issue was he was older than what you thought.
Well, not so much that he was older, it's just that I felt tricked. I felt like he was being dishonest with me. And that was a difficult thing. That was a
Says
difficult.
the person convicted of fraud.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good when you're on the receiving end of it. I get it.
Coming up on America's Court.
The two of you have some unresolved issues, and there's some enabling going on between the two of you, and you both are feeding off of this really unhealthy circumstance.
And later,
You're very passive aggressive. You say you're calm, and she's the one that's worked. You have your ways of turning that knife, and you do it very well.
All divorces, unfortunately, have their shadows.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
We're back with the case of Ronald Morrison, who is suing Estelle Swan for fraud.
Why didn't you send her a current picture, sir?
That's all I had, Your Honor. I don't go around taking pictures of myself and all that. I just grabbed it. They were good, nice pictures. I wanted to send the best. It was a little off.
It took a minute to get to where you really were.
Yes.
And where you really were was, I wanted to send her the best of me. And the best of me is from 20 years ago.
Yes. You're right, Your Honor.
Were you concerned that if she knew your actual age, she would reject you?
Scared to death. Of course. And you
Because
hope.
I'm looking at you going, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I know somebody watching this going, I'll take them.
I thought I could pivot, out of it and say, hey, I'm here now.
Okay. So that was an issue. You felt deceived. He was a little insecure about the fact that you may actually react the very way that you did. Why are you suing her?
Your Honor, she sent me letters requesting monies for the commissary. She said she needed lotions for her body. She was having allergies. She didn't like the food.
Well, what else would you be eating? It's not like you can get takeout.
Snacks.
No, I'm saying if you don't like the food, what would be the alternative when you're in prison?
There's food in the commissary. There's like.
Oh, but you have to pay for that food.
Yeah, so he would put money into my account.
Oh,
and
I see.
And
Yes.
she specified the amounts, Your Honor.
Oh, she specified
Oh,
the amounts.
absolutely.
You have proof of the money, sir?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
ultimately get out, you meet him, and the issue becomes one of what?
He's there, and I see him, and it's kind of like, oh, this is not the person I thought I was corresponding with. He was very kind, but also very insistent that we start a future together and start a marriage together, almost immediately.
You were talking marriage to her?
Yes, Your Honor. The letters were amazing. There was feeling.
I see here that you have the letter, one of her letters,
Right.
and you were saying that the letters are so amazing. But I'm also seeing the summary of the account: $50, $150, $35, $200, $40, $225, $350. That's a lot of money to be contributing.
It's a lot of body lotion. She mentioned that a lot in her letters.
Now, I also see here you have an invoice for a vehicle that you rented.
Yes, sir.
What's that for?
She did make a statement in her letter that she was being released from prison.
Yes.
And it's a 600-mile drive to the prison area. I rented a hotel. The car was pretty expensive.
Why do you want the money back now?
I just think it's fair that all this money went out. I'm out $4,200, Your Honor, the total.
All because of all these letters that you're talking about, these amazing letters.
And
right?
a future together.
That didn't
And
work
is this
out,
one of the
so I
letters
don't know
that
why.
she wrote? My dearest Ronald, I always feel like a little kid on Christmas morning
Isn't that beautiful?
when I receive your letters.
It was nice. I mean, I
I
considered.
desired that. Okay, but there's some misplaced commas and periods, and then you go to, I hate to ask again, And you spell hate H-E-I-G-H-T. I see. Anything you want to add?
I appreciated his kindness. I was genuinely appreciative of that. I just don't see why this is a punishable offense.
The two of you have some unresolved issues, and there's some enabling going on between the two of you. Yeah. There may be some illiteracy issues going on with you. There may be some denial issues going on with you. And you both are feeding off of this really unhealthy circumstance. But based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel will come down in favor of the defendant.
Wow.
Because every item she's asking, and all you had to say was no.
That's true.
And you kept saying yes. And there was something about her that was feeding something in you.
Yes, sir.
And my suggestion is that maybe you want to consider taking some monies and at least exploring some therapy. Your matter is dismissed. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been dismissed.
I'm really glad the judge saw the case in my favor. I never promised to love Ronald, and the money he gave of his own free will.
I wish I would have got my money back. She really hurt me, and I just want to move on.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
You're very passive aggressive. You say you're calm and, you know, she's the one that's worked. You have your ways of turning that knife, and you do it very well.
All divorces, unfortunately, have their shadows.
Closed captioning provided by...
Now the irritation of feminine itch? Not a problem.
Cortisone 10 Feminine Itch Relief has the strongest non-prescription itch medicine for fast, gentle, lasting relief. Cortisone 10.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Troy Victors is suing Dana Victors in the amount of $1,200. Mr. Victors claims Ms. Victors threw away his valuable sports memorabilia. Ms. Victors claims the plaintiff is a hoarder and she thought his things were trash.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All praise Mr. Sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Victors, you're suing for $1,200 because...
I'm suing for $1,200, Your Honor. I had a napkin that was signed personally by Kobe Bryant.
Yes. So what, you end up doing something to the Kobe Bryant signature?
Absolutely not, no. This napkin that he's referring to, I know about through a reference. He's a big Kobe fan, always has been, but I've never seen it myself. It's not framed, it's not put in any place safe.
I had it locked in a box away, Your Honor.
So
she threatened to destroy the napkin at one point.
You
she was upset.
You had the napkin locked in a box?
I got the evidence right here.
All right, what do you have for me?
Here you go, sir.
What do you have for me, sir? What am I looking at? Thank you, Dave. What am I looking at? Oh, this is the actual signature.
Yes, that is the actual signature of Kobe Bryant himself.
Now, what is this email?
That email was actually one that I received from her initially after the divorce. I had purchased my dream home.
Is this an email that you sent?
It is an email I sent,
All right.
correct.
You piece of expletive, I can't even say it. You have a lot of nerve doing what you did. I can't believe I wasted 18 months of my life listening, like it's so long, listening to your lies, and even worse, being married to you. What is this about a beach condo?
I had purchased a beach condo after the divorce fell through, and ironically, it was the house that she actually had her mind on us purchasing when we got married.
Ironically, it was the exact house that I had told him I'd always wanted. It was my dream house, my dream neighborhood. He picked the exact house and bought it with money that he did not have and did not have during our divorce, to my knowledge.
You mean during your marriage?
During the marriage.
Sorry,
You are
so
way
used to
too...
No, she's
you know
upset.
What? You need to take a chill pill, all right? You said you didn't have the money. You thought it was too high class, but obviously...
Obviously, I'm living there now, so I had the money. I got the place, yes.
And you
Why?
waited
I am
till
a
after
financial
you waited till
planner.
after you divorced her to get the place.
Coming up on America's Court.
I never really wanted, like, the
You
concept
know
of
what?
marriage
What
was
I'm
something I
finding
didn't want to
is
get into
You're very
yet.
passive aggressive. You say you're calm, and you know she's the one that's worked. You have your ways of turning that knife, and you do it very well.
All divorces, unfortunately, have their shadows.
Closed captioning provided by... This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
We're back with the case of Troy Victors, who is suing Dana Victors for the cost of a valuable piece of sports memorabilia.
As I said, I was rushed into the whole thing. I never really wanted, like, the concept of marriage was something I didn't want to get into
You're very
yet.
passive aggressive.
Yeah.
You say you're calm and, you know, she's the one that's worked, but you have your ways of turning that knife. And you do it very well.
All divorces, unfortunately,
You
have
may
their
have convinced
shadows.
your friends the purchase worked out that way and we're able to get a good deal on the house, but we both know you're a compulsive liar and vindictive. You purchased that house just to hurt me and get under my skin. Now, see,
Well,
I didn't even read that part, and I already knew that that's where it was going.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did do that.
I will admit that I did, but that's
And
not on
so
the,
where was the box being kept?
in the closet up in the vent.
If
In
you
which
are
box?
I had put it away.
divorced and you have finalized the divorce, why would she still have access to the box?
She must have tore things around and looking for something to try to get
Why
back
are
at
your
me.
belongings still with her if you've divorced?
It took me some time to get some stuff out. I'm just really busy. I just didn't have the time at the time to go get the stuff.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the issue is the napkin's gone,
It is.
and you think she had something to do with it.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
I know she had something to do
Did
with
you
it because
see
I left it in
something?
her home.
Did you see the box with the napkin inside it?
We have 3 lock boxes in the house. There
Right.
was one next to a pile of clutter that I believe this napkin might have been in. There's napkins all over the house, a few with writing on them. This one in particular, I think it was on the back porch next to the lock box that was completely destroyed. We have one where the hinges are
You have
broken.
3 lock boxes. What happened to the 3? Do they all belong to this gentleman?
One of them
I got
belongs
all
to
those
him.
back except for one.
One belongs to me.
And what about
the
the third
third was, I believe, yours originally, but
This is the box that no one knows where it is.
the box with the valuables I'm not aware of. It should have been returned to him. I'm not sure what's in his lock
All right,
box.
so the box that you just threw it away.
Right.
You didn't know, you didn't look and see what was in it.
It was broken. There was only broken crayons in it.
Crayon.
Broken
Photos of my
crayons.
deceased parents
It
and a
was like-
napkin that I was due to sell. That's what was in
This
the house that
box
was
had,
contained.
who is coloring?
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was a bunch of
That's what I
junk.
said.
Got
I'm
it.
not sure if it's the same box he's
That's why
referring
we
to.
had you take a lie detector test. Ms. Victors, you were asked, did you deliberately dispose of a Kobe Bryant signed napkin belonging to Troy Victors? You said no. The lie detector test found deception. When did you get the napkin signed?
I honestly had it towards the end of the marriage.
So you wanted to be able to sell the napkin.
Yes, I
And
already had
that's
a
what this
buyer. I already had a
$1,200 is
buyer
for
listed
because
up.
you had a buyer.
I had a buyer ready to go. I had to reimburse him all the money and explain to him the fact that the napkin itself had disappeared.
Got it. I
Got
understand.
upset.
So based on the
Okay.
evidence and testimony before this court, the gavel comes down in favor of the plaintiff. The reason why I asked you is because if you had it in the course of the marriage and you tried to sell it, that's an asset, which has to be split. You don't have to say anything because you lied, and that says it all. Judgment in the amount of $600. That is your order. Case
Thank
closed.
you.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $600.
Men, you should be careful with angry ex-wives and your sports memorabilia.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I should never have to pay a fine for cleaning up after someone.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.